Whether new shooter, longtime gun owner, or even police officer or soldier, your handgun needs a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Crimson Trace.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
Hey, welcome back to Gun Talk. Tom Gresham here, 866-TALK-GUN. We have some giveaways going on I got to tell you about. We're giving away cool stuff. A Sig Sauer P229 pistol and 40 Smith & Wesson. It's a cool deal. All you have to do is go to guntalk.com/win. This one's being given away by Top Gun Supply, one of the nation's biggest SIG dealers online store. Also, we're giving away, a pair of Vortex Diamondback binoculars and a bunch of Top Gun Supply gun cleaning kits. Again, guntalk.com/win will get you there. Don't forget Springfield Army's Duel, that's DUEL, program going on. You can enter for a trip to go shoot with Rob Latham. Also, they give away guns and things, but hey, you get to go shoot with Rob Latham. All you got to do there is go to the Springfield website, springfield-armory.com, and that'll get you there. By the way, we have the smartest listeners in the world. Just got an email from Jerry, I'm sorry, it's Glenn. Glenn, because he was writing about Jerry, who was our caller, our trucker, who was asked about his Sears Roebuck 12-gauge bolt action. And Glenn says, wait. Don't throw that thing away. Take that old junker. I love this. Why did I think of this? Take it to a gun buyback. Get $100 for it. Go buy some ammo. Buy another gun. Do something with it. If you got an old junker, take it to one of those stupid gun buyback things and get some money for it. Glenn, thank you. I appreciate that. That's a most excellent idea. There's a brand new book out that I think you're going to want to get. The title of it is The Future of the Gun by Frank Miniter. Frank has been here before. He is a New York Times best-selling author. He joins us again. Frank, why'd you write this book?
Tom, I just thought it was about time that someone, especially somebody who knows something about guns, actually went and investigated the good, the bad, the ugly about guns in our society and our culture and came up with some real answers and brought those answers to the fore. First of all, to educate a lot of the media out there so they actually start to get this issue correctly, but also just to give a voice to the America's gun owners who too often are misunderstood and misinterpreted.
You mentioned the media. I look at this book as, I for 20 years have called this intellectual ammunition, where we need good sound bites, we need good background, and there are some that are doing that well online, but this is, a book that you can hold, you can give to somebody, you can look up. And you talk about the media a lot because you are in and of the media. You're a gun guy, somewhat kind of, but you're also a true mainstream media guy at the same time. So you kind of have is it fair to say you have a foot in both of those worlds?
Oh, sure. No, I write a column for Forbes, write a lot for National Review. I'm out and about in the media, absolutely. But I'm also a gun guy, and I grew up with guns. So I stepped into both. And, doing this thing, I went with the ATF and to see how they actually deal with crime guns in a whole situation, into their bubble, which is actually what they call their little place in New York where they run this kind of database. I went with gang members and inner-city gang members to find out where they get their guns. And, of course, I went to our R&D departments and major gun manufacturers and so on and so forth in order to grab this real picture of what's going on and where we're headed technologically, but also with our gun rights.
As you did your research for this, and you talked to ATF, and you met with the gang members, and you met with the gun makers, and you talked with the media, what, if anything, did you learn? Did you change any views, or did you have that kind of any of those aha moments?
A couple of aha moments with the ATF. I was surprised with how, and I knew I'd done a lot of investigative reporting on the Fast and Furious operation and the ineptness they showed during that whole process. But to actually sit down with them and go into that, they call their bubble there in New York, and they really do live in a bubble. It's astounding to me what they're up to and what they're not able to accomplish, and the way they look at America that just isn't really working. I mean, they visit FFLs once every 10 years in the New York area. they're not really involved in that whole process and working with them in order to find those straw purchasers and so on. They're almost, you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than you do if you go and straw purchase a gun, you buy a gun for a criminal and being prosecuted. Your chances are higher of being struck with lightning than being prosecuted for that crime. That's where they are with this stuff. They're completely out of touch. They're not working with us, the gun owners, in order to solve the issue. And until they do, they're stuck. And I was just surprised, but how far off in their own bubble they really are.
What I think I hear you saying is that they are not they're not in the gun culture. They view themselves as apart from, and frankly, they are proud to be apart from the gun culture. So they establish, therein lies the source of this us versus them. We're not part of them. Of course, you and I look at it and say, well, no wonder you don't understand us or what's going on.
Right, it's that us versus them issue. You put it exactly right. And it's a shame because there's so many great cops in the ATF. When you really sit down and talk to some of those people, they're great cops, but they're administrators. And I literally was in a room with I had 2 ATF agents with tons of field experience, who'd done lots of work. And then there was one guy up from Washington to sit in on the meeting, and he would literally nod or not nod when they were allowed to answer a question. And I felt like I was, not in America, in some other country.
I mean, they couldn't answer a question unless he gave them permission to answer
Absolutely.
a question?
No, that's where it was. And they tried. I mean, I don't want to just give them a hard time. I mean, they were trying to, as best they could, answer the questions they could, and I appreciate the openness they showed me. But it was, just one facet of trying to find real answers to this issue.
You're one of the chapters I found particularly interesting because I have always, again, being part of the media, and I'm a news hound, is you got a chapter about how gun rights beat the media. What do you mean when you say gun rights beat the media?
Well, you look at the polls, and there's a Gallup poll that's been running since 1959. And in 1959, I think it was 59% or 60% of Americans wanted more handgun control. You look at it now, it's completely flopped. In 2013, it was 74% didn't want more controls on handguns. The issue is completely turned around, even though the media during that whole period, by and large, has been against gun rights. So how did that possibly happen? And it happened for pretty fundamental reasons. I mean, gun owners by themselves are a grassroots group, whereas the other side doesn't have the grassroots. All they have is some emotion after there's been some horrible atrocity. Where gun owners themselves have they're hunters, and they're the guys that go to the shooting ranges inside, and they're all these shooting competitions and so on. So they right there have their grassroots constituency already built up, ready to be active and step up for their freedom. Whereas the other side, well, they have some lies, some obfuscations, they're proven wrong again and again statistically. I mean, John Lott's book, More Guns, Less Crime, has been checked over and over again in peer reviews, and over again has proved true. More guns do equal less crime. So they've been losing the argument through great groups like the National Rifle Association and so on. They've been losing that argument for so long, even though they've had the mainstream media the whole time. It's really kind of amazing.
And yet, so many of those in the media, they live in their own bubble, speaking of bubbles, in their own little echo chamber, and they're talking to each other and bouncing ideas off each other, and they are convinced that the American public wants more gun control, and they actually think, for some weird reason, that gun control is advancing.
Yeah, and it's strange. And the picture I got now with going into the inner cities and talking to some former gang members, every single one of the gang members I talked to said that gun control, great. It makes it easier for us. I wouldn't have done a lot of things that I've done in my sordid past if it wasn't for those gun restrictions. Wow. If people can carry firearms, there's much less chance. Guys like me are going to go out and do bad things. So they were pretty honest about it. They could see that picture that unfortunately too often that the left side of our politics doesn't.
Now, you had a great story in there about being at a cocktail party with some writers and the British writer, and where you basically were trying to educate him. But in kind of apart from the book, when you talk with and meet with other people in the media, and some know your background and some don't, how does the conversation go?
Well, the ignorance level usually is it's so astounding. You really have to be careful. And the best way to step into those conversations with those kind of people is to first ask them questions. And then they're intellectually out on the table. And to get them out on the table, you start to refute what they're telling you with the facts. Let's say, here, go here. Congressional Research Service has this thing. Go here for that data. This is where I'm pulling it all from. And then you begin to change their mind. If you just come at them and attack them in a machine gun fashion, they just get upset. They're unhappy, and they move off. And then they talk amongst each other in a little group that they're in. And they all agree with each other, and they feel like they're smarter, and you don't change anything.
Well, it's a bit of the Socratic method where you're actually changing their minds by asking questions and getting them to change their own minds.
Absolutely.
So, all right, the title of the book is The Future of the Gun. So the obvious question is, what is the future of the gun in America?
Well, gun rights, it's we're going in a very positive direction overall. It's very interesting. Technologically, we're moving fast. I mean, there's a lot going on. And smart guns now, it's a very controversial idea. Both sides are very uncomfortable with it, really for the same reason. I mean, the left, the anti-gun movement wants to mandate that technology. And mandating it is actually what's completely stopping that technology. Right now, I mean, the Post this week blamed the NRA for being opposed to smart guns. The NRA has never been opposed to smart guns. They're opposed to mandating smart guns. They've taken no position on the technology itself, but that's not unusual. They never take a position on new gun technologies. Tracking points, new shooting system, they haven't taken an official position on what that is. They let the market decide what's going to happen with that technology. It's the mandating possibility that's really coming from the anti-gun side of it that's impeding R&D, the major gun makers in our country from putting money into their R&D departments to fund the smart gun idea. Though some of them are still coming. I mean, Kodiak Arms, IntelliGun, I think is a pretty neat idea. It has a biometric scanner on a grip of a model 1911 for the version they have out right now. That works, and it's smart. I think that's an interesting idea. And they've actually put some of those in classrooms, is the most thing I found interesting. Behind little gun safes with biometric scanners on them, and so if an administrator, if a teacher, a school official is authorized, they can unlock that box immediately, take that IntelliGun out immediately, which has a biometric scanner, and if they're authorized again, they can use that gun, and then they could actually confront a potential homicidal maniac in their school within seconds, not minutes it might take a cop to get there. So right there, boom, you can stop an active shooter in a school. That's a pretty good idea that hasn't been talked about enough.
Of course, my position has always been, I think it's a great idea. Mandate it for law enforcement for 5 years as the beta testing program and require the Secret Service to use it to protect the president. And after 5 years, if it works well there, then we'll go for it.
Right. No, let the let the market, because why would somebody want to put this electronic battery-powered device in the way of a very functional piece of machinery? Why would you want to put that in there voluntarily? You have to have a very good reason before you do it.
I mean, ultimately, as I explain to people, you got to understand this is a parachute. This is your life-saving device. It has to work first time every time with absolutely no glitches. And if you ever had to reboot a computer, you know what I'm talking about. Frank, the title of the book is The Future of the Gun. It's available at Amazon. It's available everywhere. It's available on our website, guntalk.com. I wish you tons of luck with it. I think it's a wonderful book, and it's a very easy read. I think people will enjoy reading it, man.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, let's you take care. Frank Miniter, the title of the book is The Future of the Gun. I would recommend it. Lots of intellectual ammunition in there. 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
Crossbreed Holsters is broadening our product selection to serve more of your concealed carry needs. With products handmade in the USA, like the bedside backup, gun belts, and of course our world-famous Super Tuck and Mini Tuck holsters, we understand what works, and we take pride in providing you with a quality product. At Crossbreed Holsters, we live and breathe concealed carry. We make and sell products that we believe in and products that our customers love. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com.
Want to win a gun? Well, Springfield Armory has a great promotion going. They're giving away a bunch of guns and thousands of hot swag items like range bags, shirts, hats, and other great stuff. Vote for your favorite gun. The grand prize is a personal training session with 5-time world champion Rob Latham. Go to duel.springfield-armory.com. That's duel.springfield-armory.com. duel.springfield-armory.com.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Looking for shooting instruction but don't know where to go? Well, we have it, and you can access hours of training and safety videos, which you can watch on your home computer. On GunTalkTV.com, we have top competitive shooters, the best in self-defense trainers, and folks who have hunted all over the world, helping you learn which gun to buy, how to use it, how to store it safely, and everything else you need to be a safe and competent shooter. We also have gun makers showing off their newest rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran shooter or a complete beginner. You'll find what you need at GunTalkTV.com. You can check it out for free, and you can get full access for only $5.95 a month. That gives you unlimited access to hundreds of videos, and we're adding more all the time. Run the videos over and over to make sure you understand what's being said. skip around. You're in control. Get smarter. Shoot better. Visit GunTalkTV.com.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in. Also, you can send me an email, tom@guntalk.com, over on Twitter. Matt is over there. He's posting some real good stuff. I'm at Gun Talk, by the way, at Gun Talk on Twitter. You can follow me there. That is your customized news feed on gun news, gun rights news particularly, but we post a lot of stories about defensive gun uses, stories that you need to know, so you can follow me at Twitter, at Gun Talk on Twitter. Let's go to line 2. Steve's with us out of Lexington, Kentucky. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Hi, Tom. I was just following up on the earlier conversation when the gentleman called in about the backpack for his daughter and your concerns and your comment at the end there about the idea of arming teachers or, working something out to arm teachers in the state of Kentucky.
Right.
And wanted to make you aware of a program that's being put forth in the state of Kentucky by a gentleman named Joe Khalil out of northern Kentucky, who's a law enforcement officer and a certified firearms instructor. And it's called Protecting Our Students and Teachers. And understanding from speaking to the lady before I got on the air that one of the gentlemen that you're going to be talking to later on today actually knows Joe Khalil personally. Joe is a super nice gentleman and very professional law enforcement officer and is very passionate about this program. And I just thought that you might be interested in possibly getting in touch with him. I've heard him on a couple of radio shows here in the state, and he is trying with the legislature and a number of different individuals and law enforcement agencies around the state to try and see if we can't get this worked out.
Absolutely. I'm looking at his website, defensivehandguntraining.com. Tell you what, we'll get a hold of Joe and we'll get him scheduled on the show. I would love to see what he's up to because I know that in Ohio they've got a real good program going of training teachers, and I'd like to find out what they're doing in Kentucky.
Well, he is a very articulate gentleman who is very passionate about this, and I think it'd be very interesting for your listeners.
Perfect. Listen, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate the call. Let me scoot down to line number 1. Chuck is calling out of Dallas, where a gun club has requested to be able to sell alcohol at gun shows. I saw that story, Chuck. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't know. Is it going to be the same stupid people that were trying to push for open carry the way they were doing it, and it's just really anti-gunners want to make us look bad?
Well, there's an interesting thought. Now, let me back up. In some of these venues where gun shows are held, the venue itself will have a liquor license, and for other events, sports events or whatever, they may sell alcohol there. Now, traditionally, they have not sold alcohol during gun shows, but now there's talk about getting the permit to be able to sell alcohol at or during a gun show. It's a little bit squishy in my mind as to what... But you're thinking that maybe, you're saying possibly this is the work of anti-gunners trying to create a problem?
I would think so, because they've talked to the various people who put on the gun shows, and they said there's absolutely no way they want to sell alcohol at a gun show. So this is just some outside group who wants to put it out.
Well, now that's fairly interesting. I wonder what that... First of all, I think we can all agree that handling firearms while you're drinking is generally thought to be a bad idea. Any kind of impairment, whether it's alcohol or anything else, is a bad idea when you're handling firearms. People at gun shows, all the guns are supposed to be unloaded. They're supposed to be, in many cases, disabled, where there's zip ties or whatever. And yet, and not all gun shows ban concealed carry. Some do, which it's always been interesting to me. And Chuck, look, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. It's always been interesting to me that some of our guys get real upset when gun shows say no concealed carry here. I get it on both sides. I understand why you'd be upset. You say, look, I'm licensed, I'm legal, I'm safe, I'm going to carry everywhere. Got it, understand it. That's what I do. On the other hand, if I'm the person who's putting on a gun show, and I know that occasionally you got senior Mr. Doofus over here who is going to say, well, I've got a gun just like that one that I carry. Let me show it to you, and pulls it out. Not everybody has great training. Not everybody has great discipline. I can understand the feelings for both of those parties. Had a thing happen to me this week. Talking with a fellow I just met through a business acquaintance. He's not in the firearms business. Completely different deal. In the process, it's kind of one of those, what do you do? And I told him what I do. He said, oh, yeah. He says, he pulls up his shirt and shows me he's carrying a 1911. I went, oh, okay. So that's a good gun. I like that. It actually was a Kimber Raptor is what he's carrying. And then some 30 minutes, an hour later, I'm working on something, and he comes up behind me and he reaches around and hands me the magazine from his pistol to show me the hollow point ammo. And that kind of gets my attention. I turn around, and he's holding his pistol. He's taking it out of his holster. He's holding it in his other hand. The safest place for your pistol is in your holster. If you need to take it out, you need to take it out and point it in a safe direction. But please don't take it out just to take the magazine out to show it to somebody. That caused me a wee bit of consternation. And, oh, by the way, you do know, I hope, that you can take a magazine out of your holster without taking the gun out of your holster. You take the magazine out of your pistol, that is, without taking the gun out of your holster. At least you should be able to. Your holster should allow you to do that. It should be able to reach the mag release. If it will, you ought to practice that. It's a pretty good skill to have. 866 Talk Gun. This is Gun Talk.
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back. Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, welcome back. 866 Talk Gun. Got an email this morning from a guy, and it was so good. I said, would you be okay coming on the show? Because I want to have you share this with more people than just me. So Bruce said, yeah, well, I can do that. So we're just going to chat, okay? We're just going to talk. Bruce is on the line with us right now. Bruce, you live in the Phoenix area?
I live up Prescott Valley now since I moved from California.
Oh, okay. You're up in Prescott Valley. Well, I know Prescott Valley only too well. I used to live in Prescott, so I know. So, and you finally made the trip, and you've heard me talking about going to Gun Sight before. I talk about going to different schools, but Gun Sight's kind of the grandfather of all this. You finally went. What class did you take?
I took the CCW class. I can get my permit because I've had the NRA safety training. I could get the permit without the class, but I wanted to have the training.
Okay, so and that's just for those who need to know this. That's not the full 250 class because that's a 5-day class where you really get into it. But even at that, how long did this class take? Is this a 1-day class?
1-day class, 4 hours. Basically in the classroom, and then a couple of great hours out there on the gun range.
All right, well, tell me about it and kind of when you walked away from it, what'd you take with you? Tell me about the class.
Okay, about the class, first thing, you're thinking 4 hours in a classroom is going to be boring. It wasn't. The instructor was basically anecdotal stories, not like reading from a book. But you better listen, because within each of those stories was the answer to the questions on the test.
Ah, okay. They have good teachers there.
Oh, yeah. He made it entertaining, and it was easy to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had lunch.
Right, and you went out to the range. Talk about the ranges there.
The range?
The shooting range. They've got ranges all over the place there, and the instructor. To me, it's not the property; it's the people that is so valuable at Gunsight.
They're good. They're willing to help. You go out to the range, and you start off at a pistol range. You start off at like 3 yards. And they start with training you how to get it properly out of your holster, how to put it back in your holster without shooting yourself in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 instructors watching probably 11 people at a time, and they watch you carefully. If anything looks like they might want to change how you do it, they'll come and talk to you. You might change your grip this way, or watch where this finger is as you come out of the holster.
Right.
They're very good. 3 guys right there constantly watching you.
How much fun was this thing?
Way more fun than I expected.
I know. It is fun.
Oh, yeah. That's what I went for. I said, well, I can take a stupid test, but I wanted some actual training.
Right. All right, I'm going to leave you with one thing here, Bruce. You have now stuck your toe in the water. That's all you've done. You've put your toe in the water, because their basic pistol class is a 5-day class. That's their 205 class, or 250 class, rather. If there's any way for you to finagle taking that class at some point, that's when you're going to have your true epiphany. You got just a little taste of it right now. But when you take that 250 class, it's like all of a sudden you're going, holy cow. And I guess the other thing I want to tell you is this. All you have is just the slightest bit of education on this. You really haven't been taught a lot yet. But it's whetted your appetite, and now you're ready to learn more. I would suggest online, we've got our first-person defender series on YouTube. Just look for Gun Talk Media online. You can see all the things we do there. We've got our DVDs. Also, Gunsight has good DVDs you can pick up, and that will help you out. But there's just nothing like taking the full class. So, look, I appreciate you sharing your experience with me. Thanks for sending me the email. I congratulate you on going to Gunsight and getting some training there. Now, just Start making plans to go back. That's what we all do. The first time you go there, you think, yeah, that's great. But before you even leave, you're already making plans. How can I get back? How can I take another class? I got to get back to this place, because it's like, for shooters, it's the coolest place around. Bruce, thank you for that information. All right, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to open the lines up. If you have a range report, you have a question, a comment, a question for you. I get this. I get emails both ways on this. Some people say, enough already with the politics. Let's just talk about guns. And other people say, I want more information on politics and gun rights. I'm willing to go both ways with it, whichever way you want to go. I do want to talk a little bit about rifles and calibers and deer and elk and antelope hunting, because I have the correct answer, the perfect answer for what is the perfect cartridge, rifle cartridge for you, for deer, for antelope, and for elk hunting. And when we come back, I'll tell you which one it is. Be right back.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
The Ruger SR-45, a large caliber pistol with a trim, ergonomic profile. Like the popular Ruger SR-9 and SR-40, the SR-45 is perfectly sized to be comfortable and controllable with a slim, ergonomic grip and narrow slide. It features an adjustable 3-dot sight system, Ruger's unique reversible back strap, an ambidextrous manual safety and magazine release, and built-in Picatinny rails. The Ruger SR-45, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Successful hunters know big bucks move early and late, often when it's too dark for common scopes. When that monster steps out, you might see him through the scope, but the crosshairs disappear. All that work and you can't take the shot. But with the Trijicon AccuPoint scope, you'll get the shot. Its bright aiming point glows in daylight or darkness. No batteries needed. AccuPoint scopes are water resistant and nitrogen filled, feature multi-layer coated lenses for the brightest image, and you can adjust brightness of the aiming point to match the conditions. Adding 10 or 15 minutes to each end of the day can double the magic moments when the trophies move. You can't hit the target if you can't see the sights. Trijicon AccuPoint scopes. Check out the different models at Trijicon.com or call 1-800-338-0563. Brilliant aiming solutions from Trijicon.
In the field or on the range, you need a trigger you can trust. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. A Timney trigger could mean the difference between a great shot and a miss. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. To order, go to TimneyTriggers.com. That's TIMNEY Triggers.com.
Famous radio consultant once said he'd be off the air in a year. Whoops! Defending your Second Amendment rights since 1995 on over 150 radio stations nationwide. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. So pretty much open lines. If there's something you want to talk about, a pistol, a revolver. Oh, speaking of revolvers. I just bought the complete set, DVD set for Hill Street Blues. The younger folks listening to this won't even know what I'm talking about. It was a TV series from 81 to 87, and it changed television. As far as I know, it was the first series to be shot with handheld cameras, very gritty. Well, a lot of people talking over each other, a lot of action going on. It was just different. It was a cop show. But as I'm watching these, it's interesting. I'm thinking, wow, they're all carrying revolvers. And the gun handling was terrible compared to what you see now. You watch a show like NCIS TV show. Somebody's trained these folks up. They actually know how to handle guns. They point them correctly. Their finger placement is correct. They use guns well. In 1981, they're doing the full Sabrina in the ready position, which means the muzzles are pointed up at the ceiling. They're walking around looking for the bad guy. They know the bad guy's in front of them, but they're pointing the gun up at the ceiling. And I'm literally saying to the television, why are you pointing the gun at the ceiling? You know the threat is in front of you. Why is the gun pointed up in the air? So it's kind of fun to watch how we progressed and how Hollywood, or TV in this case, has caught up, and how so many people know guns now that the people who are producing television and movies know they have to train their actors. They have to go get them some good training somewhere along the way. So just got an interesting observation there. But if you got a thought on a particular gun you like or one you hate, give me a holler, 866-TALK-GUN. Brett has called us. He's on line 3 out of Plainview, Texas. Been to Plainview a few times myself. Hey, Brett.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good. How can we help you?
Hey, with all that's going on with Marlin being bought out by Remington now, I've heard their quality going down. I was wondering what the best buy for a 30-30 lever action would be. These Mossberg 464s or still the Marlin 336?
I think the Mossbergs are making really good guns. Don't overlook now just putting aside caliber for a minute, the Henry repeating arms making some really good rifles. Also, don't forget, there's Winchester Model 94s out there that you can pick up. So we still have options. Marlin, I don't know what's going to happen with that company. It saddens me to see what has happened there, and I keep my fingers crossed. I hope that they can pull the quality back up. They can pull it together and bring Marlin back to that great place where they used to be.
All right, sir. Thank you much.
All right. Thanks, Brett. I appreciate that. Jack is on line 1. He's in Oklahoma. Jack, you got a comment about this Sears bolt-action shotgun the guy had.
How are you, Tom?
I'm good. What's up?
They've got recall on that bolt-action shotgun from Sears. It's J.C. Higgins. The bolt was blowing out and hitting the shooter in the face. And all he needs to do is get a hold of Sears, and they'll send him a prepaid box, and he can just ship the bolt back to him. He can keep the rest of the gun, and they'll refund the whole purchase price of that gun.
Really? I did not know that. So he can actually make money out of that deal by just sending the bolt back, throwing the rest of the gun away, and he gets a check.
Sure.
Sounds like a deal and a half to me. Probably the best use of that gun. Apart from, of course, the problem is even if you do it to or sell it at a gun buyback, supposedly buyback, it could end up somewhere. You wouldn't want that to happen on a gun that has had a recall. So that's a good idea. Thank you, sir. I did not know that, Jack. I mentioned that I was going to tell you what is the perfect rifle caliber for deer, antelope, elk. It is, drum roll please, the one you shoot the best. Which the flip side of that is, and this is going to drive people crazy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For antelope and deer, you can start with a .243. Some people would even start with a .22 caliber. But certainly a .243 will do everything you want it to do. Oh, but you got to have a Magnum shoot out long range. Really? I don't think so. .243, .257, Roberts, 25-06, 6.5, pick one, doesn't matter which one you want. .270, all the different variations, .280s, .284s, all of them are great. 7mm, great. .308, absolutely. 30-06, absolutely. Don't worry about it. Pick one. Learn to shoot it. If your gun kicks you and you don't like shooting it, you have too much gun. Back off. If you say, well, I shot a deer and he ran off, yeah, of course, they will do that. Doesn't matter what you shoot them with. Shoot them with a howitzer. They can run 50 to 100 yards with shot through the heart. If you break bones down, they're liable to go down. But truthfully, you can shoot them with almost anything. You can't judge it that way. The real question is, do you enjoy shooting your gun? Can you go shoot your gun 20 to 40 times without feeling like it's going to kick you a lot? If you cannot, you need a different, i.e. lighter recoiling gun. Why do .243s do so well on deer? Why do you think that is? I believe, and every guide I know believes, it's the people shooting them aren't afraid of the recoil. Therefore, they make good shots. They pull the trigger correctly. The bullet hits where it's supposed to. Take that same person, hand him a .300 mag, let him shoot 10 shots through it. He doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. Not having fun. Gets on target and yanks the trigger. Now we're shooting them critters around the edges, and they're running off and we're not getting them. Oh, 300 Magnum isn't enough. We're going to have to get a bigger gun. No. Wrong direction. Turn around, wrong way, Corrigan. Go the other way. Back it off. 7mm08, great. 260 Remington, fabulous. Any of the 6.5s, absolutely. 257 Roberts, love it. 25-06, absolutely. 243, give me a 243 and I'll go hunt darn near anything. A little bit light on elk, doesn't mean I wouldn't use it, but 25-06, piece of cake. Load it with good bullets, I'll go take any elk you want to point out. We can take care of it. Most people use too much gun, and they can't shoot it well. If you want to be better, if you want to be more effective, if you want to make sure you get your venison, back her down and put the shot where it needs to go.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back.
Just went over to the Brownells website. They're having a sale on their magazines. Brownells may have the best steel magazine, metal magazines you can find. Regularly $13.99, now $9.99 for a 20-round mag. Let's see, what does their 30-round mag go for? $9.99. Wow. These are really, really good magazines if you're looking for AR magazines. Brownells.com. By the way, they've got the special deal going till September 1, only for Gun Talk listeners, and they rarely do this. 10% off on any order at Brownells.com. GRX is your checkout code. Golf Romeo X-Ray, GRX. Get you there. Let's see. Scott's on line 2, Portland, Oregon. Hey, Scott, how do you build a target stand for $17?
Oh, it's real easy, Tom. It's actually just made out of 1.5 white PVC pipe with 2 elbows, 1.5, and also 4 T's. And the way you could quickly take a look at how to do this, it's up on YouTube. And if you just type in the $17 IPSC target stand, it will show you how to make it. I just made one in 15 minutes, and it was under $17. And the thing that I like about it is it's sturdy. It's made out of PVC that joins together, and so it's very modular. Both you can take it apart for storage and transportation. Plus, should you hit part of that stand, you only have to replace that component because it's not glued together, and it's as sturdy as could be and also lightweight.
Okay, are you the late, what is this, the late Boy Scout?
It is done by the late Boy Scout. That's it. That is not me, but I'm one who has taken his advice.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it there. Yeah, basically just take PVC and make you a target stand out of it. There are a lot of cool ways to make target stands, and this is one of them. I've seen people glue them, but there are a lot of ways to go about it. The great part is, as you say, it's cheap and replaceable, and Home Depot or your local place has more of them as you go along. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. On YouTube, look for the $17 IPSC target. Pretty neat. Jace is on line 4 out of Elko, Nevada. Hey, Jace, how you doing?
Hey, Tom. Thanks for taking my call. I just love listening to your show. My biggest deal is I do a lot of driving around here, and it's almost impossible to find you anywhere on XM. If you are on XM, I'm curious if there's any way you would ever be on or could get on XM where I could get you on a radio station more often.
Well, no, what you have to do is go to our website, guntalk.com, and then we have a list of the radio stations. As you travel around, you can tune them in. Now, of course, the other way to go is you can download the show when you miss it, and then you put it on your iPod or whatever, iPad, your whatever you got, and then you can listen to all the past shows as you travel. I have tons of people who going down the road listening to Gun Talk, and they can. And the great part is, if you just discovered Gun Talk, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a new show." No, it's been around for almost 20 years. You could download past shows, and you can get those. So it's available a lot of different ways. And of course, if you've got streaming, and a lot of people can even stream stuff in their trucks, in their cars as they go down the road, you can listen online live. All you have to do, again, is go to our website, guntalk.com/listen. The /listen takes you to the stations. And you can find a list of stations that actually do live streaming of the shows. There are a lot of different ways to get that, so I appreciate that. And look, thank you for making the effort to try to find Gun Talk. We are now approaching 200 radio stations for Gun Talk, so it's not everywhere, but we're a lot of places. And then, of course, through online, we have a lot of ways for you to listen. When we come back, we're going to be talking about, well, we got a call about the 25 Super Short Mag. We'll talk a little bit about that. Also, if you're going to be choosing a new gun, new rifle especially, what caliber would you go with? One of the cool new ones, 6.5 Creedmoor? Would you go with a traditional one like the 270 Winchester, or maybe even, heaven forbid, the old 30-06. There's still any life left in that thing? 866 Talk Gun.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.